Welcome to Anything New. My name is Pete, and as always, I'm here with Matt
What's up?
and Opie.
Good evening, gents.
Anything New is the podcast where we talk about anything new we've been using, perusing, or consuming. This is episode 11, guys. We got tons of pickups to talk
Oh
about.
my
A new
gosh.
net, a new Netflix series we've been checking out, a new Amazon series we've been checking out. But first, I know Opie wants to talk about this WoW pre-patch that just dropped. This is the patch before the expansion, which was delayed, but tons of content in this pre-patch.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. I mean, it's a small game. Not a lot of people know about it. It's kind of an indie title, but World of Warcraft is soon to be
Hmm.
releasing their new their new expansion. Their how many expansions is it, guys?
Uh,
A
there's
lot.
no
It's
idea.
a lot
Dozens.
of expansions. So usually before the expansion actually drops and you get to play the new content, World of Warcraft or Blizzard likes to do a little pre-patch that kind of get your system and your files installed on your computer so the day of the new content you can just go in and play when they release that part of the game. I think in the past, maybe with different games, when a new part comes out, they just dump everything the night of the release and it kind of causes some problems. So, this is a good way of not only letting people get in and play and reduce the amount of stuff you have to do the day of the game, but it also gives an opportunity for a little extra content, a little bit of excitement. They're kind of stirring the pot, kind of getting you ready for the expansion. Some of the major changes that they're going to be doing, and I'm just going to touch on a few. I popped in and played a few with our guild and ran around with Dan and Matt and Rhoda and a couple of guild members the other night. Is the level cap before the pre-patch was 120. So if you had a max level character, it was a 120. That's how far you had to level to get max level. Plus and wow, and Blizzard's done this a couple of times. The numbers as you level up get inflated, like damage numbers or any kind of statistics. They are always inflated. They have to add as you grow stronger. They have to add more and more and more till it finally just gets out of hand. Like if they never cut back on it or squished it, you would be hitting bobs for like 11 billion, just numbers all over the screen. So every other so often patch, they like to squish down your numbers and your statistics, and they squish down the level this time. So right now, when we logged in after the pre-patch, all of our tunes that were 120 got squished down to level 50, and all of your statistics that were like if you had 100,000 health points, they probably squished it down to 50,000 health points. But that doesn't mean that you're any weaker or your stuff's any less effective. It just means the whole world got squished number wise. And it just kind of looks weird when you're used to seeing level 120 and all these huge numbers, your gear scores for something, and now it's 150. So it kind of looks weird a little bit.
Now this isn't the first time. Is this the first time they've squished the level?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's not the first time they've squished like the numbers, because I remember
Right.
back when I was playing, there was one patch where they just basically divided everything by like 100 or something like that. So
Yep.
like if a
Yeah.
boss took 10 million hit points, now he took like 10,000 or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
they
some
did
bad
that,
math.
and they also got rid of a bunch of the little nuanced statistics that
Right.
remember, like spell penetration
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like all these like weird, crazy stats that you had to kind of go out and look for that might have helped the min maxers, but in normal everyday use weren't really that important. And they kind of got rid of all those and kind of just kept it a little bit more simplified.
Yep.
I like the
Um,
look. What about hunters? I play
mm,
a hunter, and there's a ton of new pets that they can tame
yes. They
and cloud serpents.
Yes, they can
They
play
can tame
contain
cloud
Cloud Serpent
serpents.
now. Now, I was happy about, of course, on a pre-patch. It seems like every expansion, one of the it really isn't frustrating because they do give you different skills or take different skills away. They revamp your skills and your abilities, and they wipe your
Yeah.
talents. So if you're playing a
Mm.
character,
I remember you
uh,
saying something about that the other night. You were playing, my talents are gone.
yeah, you have to go back through, and once you build a character, you can click on different talents and kind of build a character the way you want it based on just a little talent tree of it's a lot more simple than it used to be. But they wipe all that out. But one thing I have noticed is like when every single World of Warcraft character has 3 different uh kind of, they call them just subclasses. Like I'll talk about mine. I play a warrior mostly, and the warrior has 3 different classes. You can be protection warrior, you can be an arms warrior, and you can be a fury warrior. 2 of those are more damage dealing, and the protection one is a tanking one where you reduce the you want to take a lot of damage for the group. There are certain skills that you could not use in certain specs. So if I was a protection warrior, I couldn't use a couple abilities if I was a arms warrior spec. But they've kind of let a few like cross over. So like now one of the things I'm seeing is like when you're playing the arms warrior, you basically can do a lot of damage, and if it gets down to where the tank dies, and James has done this before, they have a defensive stance ability to where they actually pull a shield out. And this doesn't really, you didn't really do that before. If you're an arms warrior, you're using a two-handed weapon and you don't really have a shield, but you pull a shield out and you can reduce the amount of damage you're taking. And you can also use protection warrior abilities, like there's a shield slam ability, there's a shield spell deflection abilities that you couldn't use before because you weren't armed with a shield. So now you can over in that spec. So stuff like that's pretty cool, that I
Yeah, that
noticed.
is cool.
Now, is there a
I
date
saw.
yet for the full expansion?
December is what
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
I didn't think there was a date, like a
Yeah.
date,
No,
but
no, they've pushed it back again, which is unlike Blizzard. Blizzard's usually on top of their stuff.
Opie, do you have a video card that does ray tracing? I saw like in the
he
notes
does.
that that um they added in ray tracing for this expansion, and that it was
Um,
included in this pre-patch. Did you notice anything? Anything? Did it look better,
not
or do you have to go in
real,
and
not
enable that, or?
Not really. I may have to go read up on that, Neil. Yeah, I've got an RTX
Okay.
2070 Super.
Yeah, it says each. Let's see. Yeah, lighting effects, shadow effects
Okay.
should take advantage of ray tracing now. So maybe
Okay.
look into that. And
I will.
I haven't, even though I've played a bunch in the past, I haven't installed the pre-patch yet and played. I need to. I've still just been wrapped up in Genshin Impact so much that I haven't had a lot of free time in the evenings. But when I
Yeah.
have, it's kind of just gone straight to Genshin. But I plan on hopping back into WoW
Well,
here very
one
soon.
thing that one thing that I show was kind of show. I don't know if I showed Matt or not, but this is another thing is they have unlocked. They've made it to where you can unlock the new races. They introduced at the beginning of the last expansion. They introduced a couple of new races, Dark Iron Dwarves and the Void Elf races, and they've got two more. The Kultarin, and which is the race that's there from the new
Yeah.
expansion, and then the Mecha Gnomes, which are half gnomes, and
Mechano.
half robots. Yeah. So you can do the little quest lines. I
That
was
means
working on.
you could be a mechanome in the snow.
It's a mech. Yeah.
Opie
Anyway,
loves mechs in the snow.
well, you do start off with gnomes
There
in
you
the
go.
snow and around Ironforge, but I wanted to. Went ahead and did that Proudmoore quest line there in the harbor to get that Coltarian race, because it's a big race. I always I've always played a dwarf in any other game MMO I play. I always like the big hulking like body, big bodied races because I'm a big guy, and I want to play that race and see what it looks like fully armored up and everything. So um, we're gonna try this Wednesday night on Guild Night. If anybody listening wants to play World of Warcraft, we have a guild and we try to get together and play, Wednesday nights right now. But apparently the leveling from 1 to 50 is even faster now. And another thing I'm going to mention is you can go back when you start a new character. There's a couple options for new characters. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering about World of Warcraft, if you want to start a new character at level 1, you're like, I have no idea. I've heard a lot about this game. I want to play it. They have developed a brand new starting area. It's kind of this. I don't know that I forgot the name of it right off the top of my head, but it's like a deserted island that you start off on, and this island is basically, it's not any major cities where you have to like a lot of times when you start off a character, you're going to start in the major city or there around. Exile Island, thank you, Level Cap Gaming on the, yeah. So you start off in a major city, and a lot of new people, like there's a lot going on when you start kind of outside the city, and then you have to go into a new city. You got to find your way around. Stormwind and Orgrimmar, they can be confusing, but this island, I watched, the stream that Level Cap was on the other day, and he started a tune on that island just to kind of get a grips with the island, and it's a little bit laid out a little better, and it looks like it really walks you through things and lets you learn the game. Now you have the choice if you want to start off on that island or if you want to start off in the normal starting zone. You can, but that's good, and also you can pick which expansion out of all the ones they've released that you want to level up through. So we've talked about it, and we kind of want to go back to Burning Crusade and go through all those quest lines, level our tombs just in that expansion. You don't have to start off in, Vanilla WoW and then move on to the next, the next expansion and do the few quests there, then move on to the next expansion, do quests there. They've made it to where the quest lines level you up completely in that expansion. You don't have to bounce around now. Whereas you had to before, you had to kind of go and move into the higher level areas of each expansion. So we're wanting to check that out this next Wednesday night. So we'll see how that goes.
I would watch that on Twitch.
Yes.
Maybe twitch.tv/levelcapgaming might be.
Well, it's Level Cap,
like
LVL Cap TV. That's our buddy Dan stream.
TV.
That's our buddy Dan stream. So he streams a lot of MMOs and RPG stuff like that. Yep. So LVL CAP TV.
But that's it. I mean, if Pete's not got anything else, I'd like to see some people slide into the DMs. Let us know if you want to. We'll tell you what server that we're on, and get you in the guild. We don't hate.
It's pretty exclusive.
Awesome.
It's a pretty exclusive guild.
It is to listeners
well,
of the podcast.
Speaking of older games trying to stay relevant, Doom.
This is crazy.
That was a bad segue. I'm just kidding.
Is Doom
we had
relevant?
Well, we had our first listeners submission for a topic, and I kind of wanted to hit on it real quick. James Moore, friend of the show, he had sent us a link to a story, video game related, and I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this whole kind of underground scene of people, hackers, programmers trying to get Doom, the original Doom from 1995, to run on different electronic devices. You guys heard?
Mm-hmm. I think I think I saw one. I don't remember if it was Doom, but it was similar like that. Maybe it was Wolfenstein or Duke Nukem. It was one of those. But they got it to run on one of those Samsung smart refrigerators.
Oh, nice.
So it was same kind of thing. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I remember the Skyrim thing.
Yeah, there's a Reddit, just for this, so people kind of go on there, talk about their projects. You kind of really delve into it and see what all that they've been trying to get to run on. Basically, it's like these programmers, they'll find a device, because Doom, the game Doom from 1995, I'm sure it's super tiny as far as like file size, right? Like it's probably nothing compared to,
I want to say it fits on four 3.5-inch floppy disks. So what is that, like 4 point something megs? Because Kip Boga that I watch on Twitch, he always makes Doom jokes, and every time he does, he holds up the floppy disk, and I think he always has 4 of them. I might be wrong though.
Well, anyway, we wanted to kind of hit on a few of these devices that people have gotten the original 1995 Doom to run on, because it's pretty impressive.
Okay.
So the one that James had submitted that I thought was pretty funny to begin with. So it was an old Texas Instrument like programmable calculator, but like one of the older ones, like the monochrome screen, right? Yeah. But it has like the arrow, like almost like a little D-pad on it, but not meant to be an actual D-pad for a video game. Yeah. But they've turned it into that to move around on Doom.
But the picture you posted in the Discord was a TI-84 Plus.
Okay, TI-84. But this was the kicker, because usually they'll kind of get these games to run on an old system like this. But the funny thing was that they, instead of using like a conventional battery for it, they wanted to find out how many potatoes. 'Cause, have you ever seen like those old
Yeah.
like where potatoes can conduct
Yeah.
electricity, I guess, like
Mm-hmm.
somehow. Well, they figured out that 700 slices of a potato, consisting of about 100 pounds of potatoes, will I guess if they link them all in succession there, that's what it'll take to run one of these little calculators, and they can play Doom on it. So I thought
I
that was
mean,
kind of interesting.
that was interesting, and we can't find the cure to the coronavirus, and we can't do it
Right.
off 700
Right.
potatoes.
All these big brains, and this is what they're doing. And there's some other ones like an Apple Watch. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer because the processing power of an Apple Watch is
So there's
is pretty big.
there's the picture for those of you watching. It's on Kotaku.com. That's the actual picture of this thing running on a TI-84 powered by potatoes. So yeah, that's fantastic.
This one I thought was kind of interesting. The title was MacBook Pro, so I was like, well, that's easy, right? To get it to run on a MacBook Pro. But no, it's actually the MacBook Pro Touch Bar. So that little
Yes,
thin
yeah.
screen that's the actual touch bar.
Uh-huh.
So it's a 100 to a 10 aspect ratio, but they hacked it and got it to run just on that little thin screen. So it's like looks really stretched out.
Oh
I thought
my
that was kind of
gosh,
funny.
that's
An
funny.
Epson printer, like they got it to run on an Epson printer, and you use the up, down, left, right arrows and the OK button as
That's
to move
funny.
around, and graphics calculator, of course. But okay, this is the last one, and we'll move on. But I thought this was pretty funny. They got it to run on a pregnancy test.
What?
So there's a little screen. I'll save this, and we can put it on Discord or something, or for you to share on social media. But there's like a little monochrome screen on a pregnancy test. And I guess these pregnancy tests that however they work, you pee on them and then it shows you yes, no. But I guess there's enough processing power in this thing to actually run Doom. So they hacked it,
I
and
can't. That's hard to. I mean,
I
You
know
have,
it's
you have
pretty
to
crazy.
pee on it in different
it,
intensities to make him move and
Yes.
shoot. Yeah.
it must
Yeah.
have taken a lot of hacking to do that, because you would think if they had the know-how back in the day, Doom would have been on all of our flip phones and stuff like that. It's probably just
Right.
now that they could actually have the knowledge to hack and do that stuff on those. But that'd be funny to see.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, but I don't know.
Sweet.
Good topic for our show.
That was.
A little
Thanks for
retro gaming.
Heck yeah.
Appreciate the user submission there, and shout us out more stuff like that. We'll talk about it. Well, it's basically stuff we'd want to try. I mean, we're always down for a listener challenge from here today. Something that you guys are into. Maybe we'll check it out and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely. So speaking of video games, Matt, what was this game that was kind of all the rage last night? Was that last night, or was that
Yeah, we played it Friday night. We're recording this Sunday.
Friday
We played
night?
it Friday night. So me and Opey, our buddy Dan that was on the show, our buddy Elizabeth, and our buddy Tim, we played Phasmophobia. So this game is blowing up on Twitch, mainly because we played it on Friday. That's when it got real big. No, but it's a actually I didn't look. I don't know what year it came out. It's in early access, so actually it must be relatively new. But it's a 4-player co-op game, and basically you're a team of ghost hunters, and you have to go to these different spooky places, whether it's an old house or an insane asylum or an old farmhouse or something like that. And you have to pick up all these different tools: a flashlight, an EMF emitter, a camera, a box that you could talk to the spirit with. You have to go into this house as a team, and you have to try to find evidence of a ghost being there. And when you find enough evidence of a ghost in the house, you have to then predict what type of ghost it is. There's several different types that it could be. You have to predict what type it is. If you get it right, at the end, when you're done and you finish your mission, if you're correct, you get more money than you would normally get if you get it wrong. But you do get money for completing different objectives, like witnessing a ghost event or taking a picture of the ghost, or a bunch of different things like that. and it can be pretty creepy. You know, they do a good job of setting the ambiance and making it pretty scary. It's a perfect game to play in October, and yeah, we played it for the first time on Friday and had a blast with it. It was really fun. The only thing that bugs me is the slow movement, which I do understand why. You know, you're not running through the house because that's, you know, if it's real, you're going to be creeping, crawling through a house because you're scared to death. So I get it, absolutely understand, but still, it's a game and it has, you know, it needs to be a little bit more exciting, I think. But I loved it. It's really great to play with friends, and yeah, I mean, Opie, I don't know, did you like it?
Yes, I liked it. It's of course, you know, I was really good at the game. I would set up my camera and then go back to the truck.
Yeah, Opie would go into the house, set
Yeah.
down a camera that he could then monitor from a TV in the truck that you
Well, I
arrive
had to.
in.
It was part of the game. You know, you had to figure out that you could
But
only
the only
detect
thing, but you would do that right at the beginning, and you don't
well,
even know. You're like, I'm just going to sit the camera here, even if the ghost is in another
one of you
floor.
guys had the meter, one of you guys looked for the temperature, and then I set the camera up. So basically you're working for me the entire time.
Oh,
So
well.
once you found it, I would set the camera up and then I would go check and see if I could see the stuff through the camera that I was supposed to see. But you know, I continued to monitor you guys and watch and see if I could see the ghosts. I was trying to warn you. I had your back the whole time that I was in the truck.
Well, that didn't make me feel any better.
I thought it
No,
was
seriously,
interesting how you
yeah,
had to use like your audio commands. You know,
Yeah.
like you had to say like, is anyone here? You
Yeah,
know what I
so if
mean?
you
Like,
have what's called the spirit box, which is think of it like a walkie-talkie, but instead of talking to each other, it's on a frequency and you can talk into it, and if there's a ghost around, they might respond, but you actually talk with your microphone. You know, where are you? How old are you? Give me a sign, you know, something, you know, different voice commands like that, and that's pretty cool. The ghost can kill you if
yes,
you linger too long and you're not too careful. So I got killed 2 or 3 times.
yeah. One thing I do want to say though is we did use our Discord. We kind of cheated a little bit.
Yeah, it was our first time, so we decided let's not make communication harder on ourselves. Let's just
Right.
use Discord chat. But there is
Yes.
in-game chat.
Yeah, and it's like a walkie-talkie type of chat. And apparently, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but Matt, can you get separated so far? And if you can't walkie-talkie to each other, or
I think so,
that's
but I'm not too sure.
so that would add a little bit to it.
Hmm.
But you know, it's kind of a complex game. It kind of isn't once you get the hang of it. It gives you a little tutorial to go through, and the tutorial was even scary. But I think this was all kind of set up for us by watching that movie. Our typical horror movie that we watched last Saturday night, that Asylum movie, where a group
Yeah.
of YouTubers, set kind of the same thing
Dude,
up.
that was exactly it was so perfect timing that we watched the Korean movie and then played this.
So I think we talked about it last episode, didn't we? That the YouTubers, they set up and went ghost hunting in this abandoned insane asylum, and there's actually a level for that on this game. So yeah, it was a really great game to play with friends, and I had a ball. I had a blast.
Yeah, and our buddy Tim, to answer your question, Opie, our buddy Tim in the Twitch chat says walkie-talkies don't work during when the ghost is hunting. So when you first go in, the ghost is just kind of hanging out. But once you aggravate it a little bit, the ghost starts hunting you.
Yeah.
And that's when lights start to flicker. You also have like a sanity level where your sanity decreases the longer you're in the house, and the more things that happen, your sanity decreases, which makes you think you're seeing things like flickering lights and things like that. So that adds a little bit to the game. Yeah, I think next time we play, I would love to play without Discord chat, so that it's even more real. Because I can imagine getting lost by myself in that big insane asylum and not being able to talk to anybody. That would be kind of weird. That would be cool.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, we hit on some video game stuff. Let's talk about some TV that we've watched this past week. I know I kind of, I'm not the big spooky movie or series guy like you guys, but Diana really wanted to check out that Haunting of Bly Manor that was just recently released on Netflix.
Now, did you watch The Haunting of Hill House?
I did.
Okay.
And I thought it was okay. It had some pretty spooky parts.
I was disappointing in the ending of Haunting of Hill House. I just thought it would be worse. It should have been worse than what it was.
Right.
Yeah. So this is kind of doesn't share like the same narrative, but it's, I guess, made by the same people because it has some of the same cast. So
It's a lot like American Horror Story in that every
yeah,
season it's an anthology series, so none of the seasons have
right.
anything to do with each other, but it does have a lot of the same cast playing different characters. So it's a lot like
Yep.
that.
Yeah, and it's you know spooky house. There's a new nanny who travel from the United States that traveled to London, and she's got a job, with these two little kids, and the kind of the premise is that she has to watch the kids, and it's this isn't a spoiler because it's kind of the how it is. It's the parents are dead, so the uncle finds a nanny for the little kids,
Hmm.
and she goes in, and it's spooky from the very start, as you can imagine. So, but it's good. Diana loved it. She loves this kind of stuff. This is like right up her alley. She likes to watch the spooky stuff. But yeah, if you liked the first one, even though they're not, it's Haunting of Hill House. Bly
Right.
Manor is kind of the same thing. It's kind of rolls right with like what you saw there. But I liked it. Have you guys checked it out yet?
No.
Not yet. I was waiting until I finished American Horror Story Asylum that we
Oh
talked about
yeah,
last week, and I think I actually thought I finished, and then today it hit me. I have one episode left. I don't know how I didn't finish it, but when I'm done with that, I'm rolling into this one next.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah, we only watched the first episode, so I'll hit back on it and let you know kind of how I feel, and hopefully you can kind of catch. I'm sure you'll catch up with me because
Yeah, I'll try
we
to with you a
always.
few.
This is the typical, you know, husband wife series. It's like I want to watch.
Uh oh,
Uh-oh.
we lost Pete. He's frozen.
His I bet you his computer went blue screen,
I
guys.
think so. Yeah, Pete's been having problems. That's
It,
okay. He's still in Discord, and
okay,
production assistant Craig is still recording. So
that's good.
yeah.
We'll wait for
So
him to get back. But anyway, so yeah, so I wanted to finish Nurture Ratched, and then when I finished it, I was going to move on to something else. But man, it's just it's hard. It's hard playing the games and doing the family stuff, and then your free times. That's why I kind of want to get a treadmill so I could have a treadmill show like where I'm
oh, dude.
doing
It's
that.
fantastic having a treadmill show. I try to pick ones that aren't too cerebral. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't want to watch. I would like I watched Game of Thrones on the treadmill, but that was for my second time. I wouldn't have wanted to have watched something like Game of Thrones for the
right,
first time on the treadmill. So I try to pick something that's a little bit requires a little bit less mental power.
right.
And oh,
There he comes.
is he coming in?
He's
Hello.
back.
Hey,
Hey,
there he is. Maybe.
gotta love the solid state hard drives.
There you go.
Boot right back up.
That'll be on the next episode. Is talking about PC repair.
Okay. Anything new? I got new RAM and this week and installed it.
No, I do have some sort of problem with my computer, and I'm not sure. Opie works in IT, so he's kind of been giving me some things to kind of check out, and it's just like random crashes, like so annoying. And at first, I thought, remember when I was having the problems with Genshin Impact? When I
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
now I'm starting to think that the problem is a little bit deeper, maybe with some RAM or that M.2 hard drive, which looks like a stick of RAM. So I'm gonna try and narrow it down this week and
Sure,
get
yeah.
that
Try
fixed up.
taking out one stick of RAM at a time. That's what I did. And
Yeah, I got
takes-
I got 16 gigabytes and
Yeah.
two eight sticks. I'm gonna take one out, and I'll work on that before the next show. So
the
sorry
tough
about
thing
that.
is you can't ever like you have to take it out and then just wait because it's not it's not every time.
Right.
So you just
Yeah.
have to.
So Pete, you were saying
Yeah,
typical
so
husband wife.
yeah, typical husband wife. It's like I'll be really into series, and we'll kind of agree like, oh, this is gonna be our show that we watch together. So, but then I'll really want to watch it, but then she's kind of like, oh yeah, well it's been Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm like, oh my gosh, let's watch this. But then it'll be reversed sometimes where she's really into a show, and I'm like, yeah, we'll watch that, babe. And I'm like, all right. Like Big Brother, we're so far behind. I don't like to air
Dude,
out
it's
our
almost
TV
over.
dirty
There's like 2
laundry.
weeks left.
Dude, we still got. There's like 10 people still left in the house where we're at.
Holy cow!
We're so far behind, but
How do
that's
you-
even
How do
that's
you
even
dodge
harder.
spoilers? How do you dodge spoilers?
I don't follow CBS on anything, and
Okay.
but the funny thing was we were watching a football game the other day, and they showed
Uh-oh.
a like this week on Big Brother, and
Yeah.
it showed like 3 people sitting there, so we know that they're still there. So
Yeah.
you can't really avoid it too much. But
Right.
Peyton really likes to watch that too, so it's kind of like a family affair on watching Big Brother. So
Yep.
to get all of us together, and so anyway, that's kind of what I was want to talk about with that. We have series that we like to watch, but sometimes it doesn't work out, and then it's like we get delayed.
I understand.
Where
I used to be in that same boat, so yeah, I understand.
when you can just knock it out at any time you want to watch something, it's way easier. But we're going to try and watch this one together, so it might slow me down and take a little bit more time than what would usually. But anywho, let's move on. Matt, you wanted to talk about a show that you started watching on Amazon.
Yeah, so
and I love these shows. So just give me a good description.
Okay, so
I love these shows.
It's funny that you mentioned Big Brother, and it's funny that you mentioned being able to knock out a show whenever you want. So I watch Big Brother as my one guilty pleasure reality show. It's on CBS, right? I've watched it every year since the 3rd season, and now this is like season 22 or 23 something. All right. So I used to watch, after Big Brother, I used to watch The Amazing Race on CBS, which is a good quality show. People, like 16 different teams of 2 racing around the world, doing these different challenges. The last one, gets eliminated every week. I stopped for some reason. I have no idea why. I stopped watching The Amazing Race years ago. So I probably haven't watched it in close to maybe 7 years or so. And then so after I finished watching Big Brother on Thursday, I think a few nights ago, the first episode of the new season of Amazing Race came on. I was like, I think I'll watch this. It's the very first episode, because you don't have to watch them season by season. They're just different. They don't continue on to. So I was like, I'm going to watch this again because I miss watching it. It was really good. So I watched it. It was really good. I was like, man, I got to hanker in to watch some more of that, but there isn't any because it's a brand new season. And then it hit me. Wait a minute. Wasn't there a show on Amazon Prime that I really wanted to watch that was similar, sort of like, teams racing around the world? So I had to Google because I couldn't remember, and I found it. So it's on Amazon Prime. It's called World's Toughest Race, Eco Challenge Fiji. And it's 10 episodes. Each episode's an hour long. And it's similar but very different to Amazing Race. So basically what it is there's 66 teams of 4 from all over the world. American teams, Australia, New Zealand. There's a Japanese team, Costa Rica, Canada. I mean, just all over. And they traveled to Fiji for an 11-day race. Now, this wasn't done just for TV like The Amazing Races. There really is an eco challenge. Like, it's a sport, like adventure racing. And it's a sport where, a lot of people are into this, and they've done it for, a lot of the people that were on this show said they've been doing this for like 20 years, where you compete in these high intensity days and weeks long races around, not necessarily around the world, but just over hundreds of miles of wherever it happens to be. So this one takes place in Fiji, and it's not like Amazing Race where you have a leg and you go from here, you have a challenge in the middle, then you get to the end of that leg of the race, and then you rest for 12 hours, and then you start the next. This one is just, you have 11 days to get from here to here. From the beginning to the end, you got 11 days. Now, there were certain cutoffs. So there were certain activities, like if you didn't make it to the whitewater piece by 4 o'clock on day 5, you're eliminated. So there were little checkpoints like that where you do have like deadlines, if you will. But basically, there's no cutesy little competitions like in Amazing Race where you have to get to a thing and then roll a barrel down and then learn how to play a song like they did in the new episode of Amazing Race. It's just get from here to here. However you do it. You've got to get from here, and then you've got to go on a mountain biking trail for 30 miles, and then you've got a whitewater raft for 30 miles, and then on a billy where you have to put it together, and then you have to paddleboard and all that kind of stuff. So there are different events, but there's not like little challenges in between. And it was amazing. Like, I thought, okay, this is going to be really fun. I just got completely sucked into it. Bear Grylls is the host of it. Who he does a lot of like nature, man versus nature kind of shows. I've never seen him, so I don't know the titles of any of them.
Oh yeah.
But it was super great. Not all the teams finished. Some people got hurt. One guy got, had to be taken out because they thought he had a concussion. One guy got a huge gash in his leg, and he had to, it was starting to get infected. His leg was swelling up. They had to take him out. I mean, people were getting hurt left and right. But a lot of teams did finish. There was a prize of like $100,000 for the first team, I think, but they didn't. I say I think because they didn't focus on that. Like Amazing Race, it's $1 million. If you win, you get $1 million, and that's the goal. That's everybody's goal. This is, like I said, eco racing or adventure racing is a sport that wasn't made for TV. People have been doing it for forever, and they just decided to make a series out of this one. But it was so good. The only thing is there were 66 teams, and I feel like we didn't see all of them.
How many episodes?
10. There's 10 episodes, and what was different about it too than The Amazing Race is you don't know who wins The Amazing Race until the very last episode of the season. This one, we knew who the winner was in episode 8. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I just saw who won. How are they going to squeeze out 2 more episodes? But the difference is one team won on episode 8, but there was still a bunch of other teams like 2 days behind them. So there's still like plenty of things to, just because the first team won doesn't mean that everybody else is done. So it was just so good. And speaking, you said watching what you want win. I just did this on a whim on Friday night. I was like, let me just, I'm eating dinner. Let me just watch this one episode, the first episode, and see what it's like. I started it on Friday night, and I finished the whole series yesterday on Saturday. So I think I powered through like 3 episodes on Friday, and then the other like 7 yesterday, all in a row, just because I got so caught up in it. It's so good. It's so interesting, and there's no interpersonal drama. There's no people don't fight. There's none of that kind of reality show drama. It's just the drama of people challenging themselves, trying to get through. This definitely is not a bucket list of mine at all. I don't want to do this. I don't think I could do it. But it's so inspirational to see these people like pushing themselves to their limit and going beyond that. One dude got hypothermia. One dude got heat stroke. So you got both ends of the spectrum there. It's just it's fascinating to watch these people just push themselves and compete against nature basically, and it's awesome.
Fiji's beautiful too, right?
Oh my gosh, dude, you should watch it. What is your projector in your media room? Like 120 inches or something?
150.
150. Is it like? Do you have 4K? It's 4K.
Yeah, 4K HDR10. Come on.
You need to watch it down there because this show, visually, the show is gorgeous. All the scenery and everything. So watch it there.
Yeah, Matt, you were talking about people pushing themselves to the limit. I got into the Discovery Channel's series Alone.
Yeah,
where they just put people out there on the island and have them to survive, and that's kind of crazy. I mean, yours is one side of pushing yourself, and the other one is just like, see how long I can starve myself. These people, just to fight sheer boredom on that show is one of the biggest things people have to overcome, and that's something that you wouldn't think be possible. But let me ask you this: in your series, were these people like average Joes that signed up for it, or were like, because I know in Alone there's a lot of survivalists and people that think they can do it. Like you get $1 million, I think, or something after if you survive the longest. But were these like athletes, like triathletes, and
so a lot of them were people who have competed in other eco challenges like this in the past. There was one team who basically there was one team who all the other teams knew because they were so popular in the sport and they were the favorites to win, so you had people like that. You also had people who had never done adventure racing before, but they weren't people like us who, play video games all the time and just decided to do this. I mean, even the people who hadn't done adventure racing before, they were still athletes. You had there was one team made up of a couple guys who had done a bunch of Ironmans. So they were, they had done a bunch of, they were like professional cyclists but they not necessarily professional adventure racers. So it was, but yeah, most of them were, athletes and people who knew what they were doing and could do this kind of stuff,
Well, I mean, first of all, it's in Fiji. I mean, I love their water. So right off the bat,
yeah, there's a bunch of little square bottles everywhere.
That's a huge plus. Like you just like fill up a bottle right from the tap.
Listen, I hate to tell you that Fiji water
water
doesn't taste any different for the price you pay.
You are crazy, sir.
It doesn't.
Fiji water. It's straight from Mother Earth, from the aquifer.
It's two something a bottle, and it doesn't taste any better than the
oh my gosh
40-pack of Walmart water that I got.
Well, that's just filtered water. First of all, we're going to change and do a whole show just on.
We need to do a water taste
spring
test.
Water. Because Fiji water, it's bottled at the source. Like it's not
supposedly.
It's not filtered. It's just straight up.
Supposedly,
so maybe there might be one bottle with like a cigarette butt in it. Where somebody just like, I don't know. But anyway, all right. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, just if you're into that kind of stuff at all, definitely watch this show. 10 episodes, 1 hour each. You can be done with it pretty quick. I got completely swept up in it. It's called World's Toughest Race Eco Challenge Fiji on Amazon Prime.
Nice. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah,
that'd be something too that my kids might watch. They love that kind of suspenseful stuff, like kind of like that, where because they love Survivor, MTV The Challenge, even though that's a little...
yeah, this isn't anything like that, but
anything like that where there's like competitions, even like on Big Brother, like HOH competitions, stuff like that. They love that kind of stuff. Like even my 8-year-old, he'll stop and watch those and cheer him on. But.
Right.
Anyway, all right, it's time for pickup talk, guys.
Yeah, it is.
I know Opie and Matt both. All week I've been hearing about these pickups, and they've been super tight-lipped on it. So I'm really excited to see what's going on. So Opie, do you want to kick it off for us here with your pickups?
Oh yeah, so I picked up a few things this week, and the first thing that I kind of teased in our Discord that was something that I've been looking for a really, really long time, and I'm not one to. Like, okay, so when I show you guys this, you could go, well, I could have went to Amazon and bought that, or I could have went to eBay and bought that, which is probably what I could have done, but I couldn't got it for $2, like what I got it for. But back in the day when I first saw this movie, and then there was a series of movies, a trilogy that came after that. I went ahead and bought the special uncut expanded editions. So
Matt, do you know this? Do you know what it is?
Is this the thing, Opie, that you said completed your collection?
Yes.
I don't know.
I had 2 out of 3.
Give us some clues. See if Matt and I can guess it. Well, give us some clues.
Basically, it's a trilogy of movies.
Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes. So I had back in the day purchased the special edition DVD set with all the uncut stuff,
like the extended versions.
The extended version.
The 3 hours something.
Yes. I had the 2 Towers and I had Return of the King. I never found the Fellowship of the Ring until I walked in my Goodwill, and there it was, Fellowship of the Ring, to complete my collection.
Oh man! And that's the extended, right?
Yes, it's the extended. Okay. It's all the and I was really nervous because I saw it on the shelf, and see, this is weird because I go to my Goodwill just about every day after work, and there had been a lot of DVDs, like really good DVDs donated that they had, and there was a lot of seasons of miscellaneous stuff there. But when you would open up and like I check everything before I buy it, there was a lot of DVDs missing out of a lot of these sets. So I was so nervous. I was talking to myself, and I opened it up, and I was like, please be in there. Please be in there. Please be in there. But yeah, it's all here.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
It's in good shape too.
Yeah, it's in perfect shape. But yes, so now I have and this is funny that I've got all 3, the Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King, and the Fellowship of the Ring. I've got all the extended editions. I've got it all on DVD, widescreen, and I've got it all on Blu-ray. They do have Fellowship of the Ring on VHS, and it was at Goodwill, but you
got to do it.
if I can't get them all three, I may get it. I'm trying not to dive into that unless it's just a movie I just love from the 90s. I'm trying to look for more 80s VHSs, which shit, I probably should have pulled it over here, but I got Total Recall on VHS the other day, which was really cool. That was a pickup. It's not so much. I should have brought it on here, but anyway, that was really exciting. I was really happy about that. That's why I said it completed my quest. And I told you, Matt, you wouldn't be such a big deal when you found out what it was, but
it's awesome. It's always awesome to finish a collection.
Yeah, and I've just always had it, and I've always had a little DVD shelf, and I just don't know why I've never just went to, Amazon and bought it, or whatever. I just know that I just never had came across it, and to find it. So
I'd looked when you brought this up. I remember just seeing a story just the other day about that the 4K releases, the HD, Ultra HD 4K Blu-ray formats coming out in December. So of all of them, so it'll be the first time they've been released in 4K.
Nice.
But I was talking to Matt on Discord the other night, and I teased that he would know what this is because it's something that him and his brother-in-law used to do all the time. You guys used to get together and watch them all, right?
No, that was only once. Me and my former brother-in-law, we went to a friend's of his house, and we watched all three of the extended versions back to back. It was like 8 hours. It took like 8 or 9 hours to watch all of them.
Yeah.
But that was back when doing something like that sounded crazy. Now now there's tons of movies that are like 2 or 3 hours long that you can marathon and
talk about an eco challenge. Walking to Mordor, man, that was
oh yeah, and they had 11 days to do
that was the eco challenge.
Right.
James, I don't know if you didn't know, but there's a lot of stuff that they cut out of this movie that's on these DVDs that I don't know if you saw them or not. But if anybody gets a chance to just watch the extended editions, they're really good.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the fight scenes are extended. There's a lot of stuff they cut out, and it's good to watch that. I mean, I know we sound like nerds because I think it was with Big Bang Theory or something. They went to watch something that had an Indiana Jones movie that they wanted in line for that had like 45 seconds of it.
Right.
But anyway,
dude, I love that stuff, man. You talking about director's cut, the Justice League, the Snyder cut's coming out next year on HBO Max. It's like double the runtime because of all the stuff they cut out and now they're putting back in. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hope it's good.
I do too.
So my next pickup, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this. It's going to be related to last week. And if you listened to last week, you saw my pickup from last week. I went ahead, Matt, and stealing your thunder, got it.
Oh. Nice.
Went ahead and got the Point Dread Mega Blocks or Mega Constructs Masters of the Universe set. So
whose ship was that? I don't remember Point Dread.
It's a Sorceress, I think. Well, Zodiac drives it. I never played with this toy vintage. I
never had that either.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
It was a later one, but this part right here, James, it connects with the Castle Grayskull set. Like it'll set down in Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, it can.
Which is my grail. If any viewers out there, when we start getting a lot of viewers mail me stuff, maybe they'll send me a Castle Grayskull.
I'm still gonna have a Twitch stream of me putting that together eventually one day.
But this is
about on Facebook the other day, Opie, when I sent you that Facebook Marketplace Castle Grayskull for $50 with like 10 figures. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then that's one of those things with Facebook. It was so she had listed it for $50, and I sent it to Opie, and he was like, "It's a steal." So I messaged her, and I was like, "We'll take it. You're just gonna go ahead and get it, and then Opie could pay me for it." Well, she said it's pending. So then she took it down, and I'm like, "Okay." She took it down. It's pending. She must have sold it. So the next day it pops back up and it's like 185.
Jeez.
So she had gotten a bunch of response to it and then decided she was going to take it down and put it back up for a higher price.
And that's and that's Facebook Marketplace for everybody listening that does it. Like you can get stuff more expensive on eBay and pay through PayPal and things like that, but things are a little bit more stable when you start going down to Craigslist, and then under Craigslist there's Facebook Marketplace. Mm-hmm. Like I had an experience I was telling James about, and I was texting him in real time. We were doing this there's a certain NCAA football game. It's the last one for the Xbox 360 that got upwards up to $200 worth, when COVID kind of hit, and someone had one on Facebook Marketplace that she had like a group of 6 games, and she said $5 a piece. And I was like, well, that game was in that lot, and there's another game I wanted too. And I messaged her and I said, "Are these available?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, Can you I buy them individually?" She's like, "Yeah." She messaged me back twice, and I said, "Okay, I'll take the NCAA game and I'll take another game. Is that okay?" And then I never got a message back, and I never got a message back, and I kept messaging, never got a message back, and then it was marked sold. So nobody, no explanation, no reason why. People, I don't understand if they put stuff up and then somebody messages them and say, "Hey, that's worth a lot of money," or
Right.
what happens on that. That's
Well,
like,
somebody probably else was like, "I'll take the college game," and she's like, "It's sold," and then they were probably like, "I'll give you $75 for it," and she's like, "Okay," probably something like that,
So my last pickup, I just kind of got the fever because I'm a little bit nostalgia for this, and the first time it came through my Walmart, like I kind of passed on it, and I've been passing on those because I don't love I don't love them, but this one particular thing I didn't want to pass on. I just pulled the trigger, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on a couple other things either, and which was the first thing that I really wanted. Was the retro collection, but I picked up Battle Cat.
Oh, word!
Is for that.
That's
Which is
awesome.
still matches the universe. This is that vintage line they put out in Walmart now, and I passed. There's 2 or 3 of them in my Walmart, and I passed on it. And I just love Battle Cat. It's something I had when I was younger, and I'm pretty nostalgic for that. And then if you have Battle Cat, you go what you gotta have.
You gotta have He-Man and
you gotta have
Skeletor.
So I got them both.
Oh, I nearly got those when I was at Walmart the other day. They had those are the only 2 they had.
I don't love
cool.
these. I don't love them.
Yeah.
But I really like, the cards kind of jacked up on this one. But He-Man and Skeletor seems like they're going to start showing up, and I think they even rolled them back once or not. But in this wave, there's He-Man, Skeletor, Teela, Beastman, and Evil Lyn. So
Man at Arms also.
Man at Arms, I'm sorry, yes. But the Beastman, I think, is the hardest one to find. I've seen the Man at Arms and didn't get it, but anyway, so I didn't really want it, but now I've started this. I'm probably going to have to try to pick them all up. But
and don't worry, for the audio listeners, we're going to post pictures of these on the Instagrams and the Twitters in our Discord, so there will be you'll be able to see what we're talking about, or you can watch it on YouTube and see.
I had 2 He-Men, but neither one of them were like the regular He-Man. Like one of them had something like where it was a dial on his chest.
Yeah, battle armor.
When you hit him, it showed like a scar.
Yeah, that's
and it
battle
would flip
armor.
around.
He-Man.
Okay, I had that one, and I had one that I think, if my memory serves me correctly, it took like caps.
Yeah, that was Thunder Punch He-Man.
Yeah, and it had like a big thing on its back, and like you put the caps in there, and like
you twisted him at the waist.
Yeah, when you punch, it would make like a cap sound, like a cap gun.
I had that one too, and I remember one time in particular I was playing with that, and I put the caps in, and when they would pop, it would smoke.
Yeah,
and you would smell it, like it would almost smell like a candle.
Yeah.
I was a little kid playing with this, and I remember playing with it one day, and I smelled that smoke, and I started crying. My mom's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "It smells like I'm scared that the house is going to catch on fire." And from that day forward, I never put the caps in him again because I was scared that he was going to catch fire because I smelled smoke. Yep. Every time I popped him, I smelled smoke.
That smell was just so good.
Yeah, it is now.
And stuff. I love that smell. I haven't smelled it in years, but geesh.
Can you even buy cap guns anymore? Can you even get
I'm sure not. That's probably right down the road with candy cigarettes.
Right. You had the little plastic caps, and then you had the ones that were rolled up in the paper. We used to take the ones in the paper, and you could just scratch them with your thumb and make them pop, or whatever. So that was pretty cool.
It's crazy you can still get Big League Chew. I thought about that the other day. Like we saw at the grocery store. Yes. Like that's like they don't like tobacco companies marketing towards children. And I know it's not a tobacco company. It's making but it just seems kind of odd that you could have chewing tobacco that's gum, and kids chew it, and act
I
like they're
mean,
putting in a big chaw.
Right.
I don't even know. Yeah, it's like chewing tobacco and dipping and all that stuff is so like I don't. Well, where I live, it's still pretty relevant, but I guess it's like I grew up. My dad he did the old style chewing tobacco with the pouch, so
Oh,
I knew exactly what
yeah.
that
Like
was.
Bread Man, and
Yeah,
Levi Garrett.
yeah, all that stuff. Woo!
Yeah. Did you ever? So here, story time.
Oh yes.
So
I already think I know what you're saying. Gonna say.
one of my first jobs. Well,
Oh
yeah,
no.
it was one of my first jobs. I worked at BP gas station. That's actually where Diane and I met. So one of my friends that also worked at BP, we had access to all this tobacco. We were selling packs of cigarettes and all
Yeah.
and chew and stuff. And we were just hanging around, one late night. It's kind of just picture like Clerks, like the show
Oh
Clerks.
wow.
So we're just hanging around, working in the little shop, and he like pretty much says like, "I'll buy a pack of this chewing tobacco and give you $20 if you can chew it for like 30 minutes." And I'm like, "Oh man, $20. That's like 3 hours of work. This is like back in like the mid
Yeah.
'90s. I'm like, okay. So I did it and got super sick and like was
Well,
throwing up in like the little back like wash basin. Like it was bad news. I was probably like 18
um,
years old.
I can
Anyway,
trump.
that's my
I
story.
I can trump that story.
Oh, bring it.
Okay, so I told you my dad was a chewer of tobacco. So back in the day, we're talking maybe I want to say, okay, if I can remember the house we were living in, I would say I was in around the first grade, kindergarten or first grade, right in there. So I was, 6 or 7 years old at the time. So back in the day, Pepsi bottles weren't plastic, so they were glass. A lot of
Yeah.
times, you had glass Pepsi bottle. So my dad would spit tobacco juice into
Oh no. I
I
don't
know
think I
where.
want you to
Oh
continue.
gosh,
and I wasn't listen. I won't say the whole story.
bruh.
But in the day, I wasn't allowed to have Pepsi, so I would sneak and try to drink Pepsi. Yeah, that happened. That happened.
Oh man,
That happened. My
that's
mom said he'd
that's
never seen
bad.
me so sick.
No. I don't even want
Matt's
to
going
think
to his
about
safe
that.
place.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
I mean, stuff like that happened all the time, even up in
Sure.
college. I mean, you would turn up a bottle, somebody put a cigarette butt out
Oh my
in,
gosh.
stuff
Oh
like that. I mean, it's so
I hope
gross.
nobody's
yeah,
listening to
that's
this eating
so
dinner.
gross, dude.
I appreciate it.
That is so gross. And yeah, it happened because everybody in my family smoked whenever I was growing up.
Uh,
They're anyway. Is that it? Is that all your pickups there,
that's mine. Thanks.
Oakster?
Yep, 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 yep.
Those are some dandies. This is going to be a hard act to follow, Matt.
Well, and it depends on what you're into. So apparently, I went a little overboard this week, and I basically hate money apparently, and I'm trying to get rid of all mine apparently. So I'm gonna go in order, my own personal order of, it's kind of cool too. I freaking love this. First, Amazon during Prime Day. I think Prime Day is kind of lame. Like, there's never really anything good. But I did find on sale for $6 was the Funko Pop Captain America Snowman. I got this
Okay.
because it's a set. There's like Thanos in a Christmas sweater and Rocket Raccoon in a little Christmas hat, and there's a Groot, like Christmas tree Groot. I have all these. Me and the boy got these last year, except we never found this one. So the Captain America Snowman is going to go with all of our Christmas pops. So that's cool.
So that completed your collection. Is that what
Yeah, that completed that set. I also got this was kind of an impulse, but kind of not. I got the new Blu-ray, the Batman Death in the Family. This is kind of cool because it's a sort of a redo of the Batman Under the Red Hood animated movie from several years ago, but this is like a choose your own interactive movie. So it'll play part of the movie, and then you get to decide what happens. So does Robin die? Does Robin live? If you go, it's like a choose your own adventure book basically. But
Yep.
Hey, stop me real quick. Let me interrupt you real quick, but stop me. Tell me if I'm wrong. But back when, was it Blu-rays or was it back when DVD and HD you could interact with them? Was Blu-ray got more of an interaction like with some movies? Was that a thing, or was it DVDs? Or
that
HD?
sounds familiar. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not
So
sure.
maybe just coming from VHS, I'm thinking about DVDs just having an interactive menu
Right.
in them. But I kind of wanted to think that there were going to be a push to this new type of media where you could determine how stories ended up. And I didn't know, because I honestly, I like VHSs, and I started a little collection of DVDs, but I never got into Blu-rays. I mean, I think the only Blu-ray player we have in the house is my PS3.
Oh,
So I
right.
bought and watched a lot of physical Blu-rays, to tell you the truth.
I don't have a ton of them actually. I think I used to. We sold a bunch of them just because most of them are. And normally the animated movies, I have a good collection of all the DC animated ones, but I don't have all of them. And I started watching all of them just digitally, but I didn't know how well this one would work digitally because it's interactive. Like you choose what happens in a bunch of different scenes, and that drives the story one way or the other. So I thought that would be pretty cool to do. This was a total impulse buy, and Opie, you know about this one. I got the McFarlane Toys Batman, the blue and gray variant paint with the yellow oval around the bat symbol. I had not planned on getting this one at all because I have the quote unquote regular one, like the sort of the gray and the sort of the black. Until I saw on Instagram, and Opie, you shared the post with me. One of our toy collectors that we follow on Instagram, he posted a cool picture of this version of Batman next to the McFarlane Toys Superman, and also the upcoming Flash that I have on pre-order, and just the colors, how colorful they are together, looked really cool. So I thought I would love to put this one with the Superman and the Flash to have like a more old school, colorful Justice League, and then take the darker colored Batman with the Nightwing and the Batgirl and have like a Bat family over on this side. So I decided to grab him too.
I like the blue and gray.
Yeah, I do. I like him. So
I mean, I watched Adam West in the show a lot when I was younger. It was on syndication, like Nick at Night and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it.
Opie's a poser. I got it first. I know it's backwards.
I don't think you got it first. I think I got it first and just didn't tell you.
Yeah, I got mine on Friday.
I think I got mine on Monday.
Yeah, it was a crazy thing. I went out to vote. Be sure to vote, kids. I went out to vote on Friday, and my Walmart is real close to the voting place, and I hadn't been to a regular Walmart in literally I think all year. So I was like, I want to see what toys they have, and that's where I got these two things.
Yeah. So you didn't have any minifigs though.
No, they didn't have any minifigures. They had the Roton set and this. Yeah. So, but I'm going to build this, put it on top of my Castle Grayskull whenever I put that together. That's going to be awesome.
I'm really surprised because I didn't even think about it. I wanted to pick you up those variants because mine still had those minifigs were still there. They even had another skunk or no one even came and got it. But
I'll take them. While I was out at Walmart, I was like, I want to run. So I've been watching this new YouTube channel. It's new to me. It's not new. He's got like 11,000 subscribers. There's a YouTube channel called Comics with Bueller, and it's just the videos of his that I like to watch. He does a show called Comics and Coffee, and it's him and another dude sitting at like a table, and he's got all this nice like comic artwork all around and stuff. And it's a lot of the kind of stuff that you can find at like Hobby Lobby. Nothing wrong with that. It's awesome comic. Well, it's kind of like, if you're watching the video, it's kind of like that stuff right there. Well, it's kind of like all this stuff I have back here.
Like the tin stuff, like or they're made out of tin.
That stuff like too. This is like the wood. Yeah, that's canvas.
Oh, gotcha.
This is like the wood thing back here. But I wanted some more of that stuff, and I was like, maybe they'll have a couple of things. Well, I walked into Hobby Lobby. There was a whole. Opie, I sent you the picture. There was a whole wall. Yeah. It was almost too much to choose from. I was like, and I was thinking, I really want to get some of this stuff because this bedroom I have back here, I'm going to turn it into like a collectibles room. I'm going to put some shelves up. I'm going to put a lot of my collectibles and comics and stuff in there, make it a real nice display room or whatever. And I wanted some cool stuff to go on the walls. That's a long time coming. I got to clean the room out. I got to paint it and everything. So that's a long time coming. But I did go ahead and pick up a couple things. There was too much to pick from, so I picked only two because some of it was damaged. Some of it, like I really wanted to get, but it was damaged. So, but I got this cool thing. It's
awesome.
So it looks like Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man number 68. I love vintage comic stuff better than
kind of shadow boxy. It looks like Spider-Man's kind of
out. So the cover is inside the glass.
Okay.
But Spider-Man, if you can see, he's kind of like, see how he's like on the glass?
Yeah.
So I thought that would look cool in there. I'm going to hang it up in my living room for now because it's probably going to take me several months to get that room ready. So I picked up that, and I picked up a Captain America one. Same kind of deal. Captain America number 193, Jack Kirby art. The other one was John Romita, so classics. You can see he's kind of on the glass like that, so he's kind of raised up off the cover.
Yep.
And there was a whole bunch more stuff there that I wanted to go back and get, but some of it was damaged, and I'd already spent a ton of money at Walmart getting other stuff, so I was like, okay, well, I gotta.
You see that stuff at yard sales a lot too.
Oh,
People, they'll buy that stuff at Hobby Lobby and kind of cycle through it. But,
and then,
which reminds me, I rarely go through my Goodwill and look at their picture frames and stuff. They have a bin that they just throw pictures in and things like that, and I'm surprised I don't see stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, if you ever see any like vintage comic stuff like that. And then lastly, something I guess I collect this stuff now. I never thought that I would, because I read all my comics digitally, and I have for literal years. I read everything digitally on my iPad. It's upstairs, but I used to make fun of my son, because I used to always say, he wants, YouTube is the worst commercials, because he wants everything that he sees on YouTube. Well, I don't have any room to talk, because I've been watching some YouTube channels of guys who actually collect comics like I used to collect them. And I've been watching some channels of some guys who collect the big hardcover omnibuses, the giant, like, collected volumes of comics, right? So I was like, I'd really love to have some of those. So I now own 3 of them. I got Batman: The Killing Joke, which is regarded as one of the best Batman stories of all time. It's thin because it's just one story, but it's nice hardcover, real gorgeous, colorful. Like, the pages look really nice and they're real glossy and everything.
I've watched a couple of those episodes of those omnibus guys, and that stuff does look really good if you're a collector. And
oh my gosh! So then one of my this isn't quite a holy grail, but I got this story called Justice, with art by Alex Ross, and it's written by a guy named Jim Kruger. And I only read this story once on digital. This story, though, Alex Ross is like, everybody loves Alex Ross. Like, you can see he did the cover. It's gorgeous, right? Well, he normally just does covers, because he like paints everything, right? Except for this 12-issue story, he did like all the interior too. Like, it all just looks gorgeous like that. Cool. Like, it's real glossy pages, gorgeous Alex Ross artwork. I always wanted to have this. I wanted the Absolute edition, which the Absolutes are like this, but like that tall. Like, they're huge books. But the Absolute version's out of print. It's really expensive. So I got just the regular hardcover instead. This is the whole series. And then I got one more. I got Daredevil, written by Frank Miller, drawn by David Mazzucchelli. This is this is Frank Miller's second run on Daredevil. This is basically the whole Born Again.
Show the spine. Let's see the spine. So that's what looks good.
Yeah.
Right,
and his Frank Miller's first run on these, the colors are just like this but inverted. So like, this will have a red background with black lettering. And
if you're watching this live, or go back and watch the stream of this, we've got our game shelves and stuff behind us. We put, like, Pete and myself, we like to pick up games and put on the shelf, but Matt definitely is tipping his tippy toe into the waters of getting these omnibuses and put them on the shelf. And I say that because he's always told me, and I don't know how long his omnibus has been around for, like, forever.
A long time. Yeah.
Really? Because you've always talked about trade paperbacks. Like,
right. I was never interested in the hardcovers, because they're more expensive and they're harder They're harder to hold. They're heavier.
Right.
So my shelf over here that you can't really see, I've got dozens and dozens of the trade paperbacks. But just watching these videos of these guys with their gorgeous hardcover omnibuses that collect way more issues in one volume than one issue of a trade will. A trade paperback's usually like 6 or 7 issues.
Now, educate us a little bit on the omnibus. If you were to take the same 10 issues that were in that omnibus and go page per page, would it be the same?
Well, so, these are expensive.
Do they have to rearrange the panels of what I'm saying?
Oh, no. Its pages the same.
Okay.
All the page layouts are the same. But you get way more in them, and it's hard to, like, but it's just like gorgeous, like, this is, And this run of Daredevil specifically, this Born Again run, is regarded as one of the greatest comic stories, period, of all time.
Is that your first omnibus purchase?
I mean, I have a couple other hardcovers, but I guess technically omnibus. This is the first one I got that says omnibus on it.
Wow.
And then I got these other 2 hardcovers, and I have another one coming on Monday in the mail. So
Well, save that for next week's pickups.
Yeah, but so these 3 so far, obviously I would keep the Marvel and the DC separate. But yeah, so I guess I collect the omnibuses now because they're just.
Listen, there was a point in time where Matt Selby and I was on the same train, wanted to go all digital with media. We wanted all digital media all the time. We're taking our stuff to McKay's. We're selling.
Dude, I've traded in so many trade paperbacks because I was like, I don't want these anymore. I'd kick myself.
You guys gave me a website one time that they would give you so much, and I scanned my whole CD collection thinking I was going to take it in and trade it in, and I'm glad I didn't because I love my CDs. I pick up CDs whenever I see them. I know that sounds crazy, but just like VHSs. Well, feet lock up again.
I don't know. But yeah, so that's I just I love comics so much, and there's something about having even though I read them digitally and stuff, and I could read any of these digitally anytime I wanted to. There's something about having this it's almost like having it just archived, Yeah. So I've got, I mean, because the art is and these stories are so great, and the art is so gorgeous, it deserves to be owned on paper in a book. And so I'm gonna start collecting these.
It's just like art dealer. It's like you said. It's just like people buying art.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, and the thing with these omnibuses is like comics. People buy comics today, and there's a lot of channels about collecting and stuff. The comics that come out today in single issues, they're not worth. They're probably never going to be worth anything. Not like the old ones are.
Right.
But these things, they don't stay in print forever. And when these things go out of print, they skyrocket in price.
You're exactly right.
Not that I would ever sell them, but it almost is kind of an investment in a way. And
it is kind of an investment.
And the price you pay, like brand new, these things might be $100 to $125, but most of them collect like 30 or more issues. So it sounds like a lot, but for what you're getting, actually,
what's more expensive,
pretty justified.
Buying the issue at the issue price or buying the omnibus?
Oh, the omnibus is cheaper. Because like with as many as it collects, it's like $1 an issue. So
okay, I love it.
So I guess I collect these now.
Yes,
it's always good to pick up a new collection hobby,
Yeah, so
that's what I do not tell my wife.
And I created like a wish list on Amazon so that I could, because Amazon will have them listed out in the future. So I've got them ordered. Like I can see which ones are coming out, so I can like, well, if that one's coming out in a month, I might go ahead and pre-order that one. So yeah, I'll probably have more of these nice, pretty hardcovers in future episodes. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that, but when these things came in the mail. Over 3, they came in on different days, and each one that came in, I just got all giddy. It's like, oh, look how gorgeous this is. I've read all of these already, but they just look so good.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Any of you guys got anything else before we wrap up episode 11?
I'm done. I'm good.
Opie, do you want to hit on our social medias real quick?
Yeah, give us a shout out. We're trying to pick up the social medias a little bit more. Hit us up on Twitter at Anything Newcast. And on Instagram at Anything New Podcast, or Gmail. Send us an email. And we're still, we've got games to give to people. If you want to hit us up, Anything New Podcast at gmail.com. YouTube is a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/anything new YT. I was hoping that wasn't a mistype. Sometimes I type into the doc. And Discord, bit.ly link, bit.ly/anything new Discord. And we stream it. We have been look us up on Facebook at the Anything New Podcast. We've been streaming live on Facebook and have those up there, but the last 2 nights, once Pete gets his computer problems fixed, we'll get that going, and I may learn how to do that just to back him up in case we have problems.
Oh, that'd be very nice of you.
Yeah. Yeah, you just need to just tell me how to do that, and I should have thought about it tonight, but I thought you might have had it fixed. But
Well, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do live streaming and then crash there.
yeah,
It's bad enough just
we had
doing the audio part, but yeah. But anywho, all right. Well, that's episode 11. We will be back next week for episode 12. I've already got things that I want to talk about, but we gotta kind of conserve some things and save some things for the next show.
Yep.
We can't have these things running 3-4 hours long. We don't want to take up your whole day.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys got anything else before we go?
Nope.
No, just be sure to vote. There's only a couple weeks left before the election, and be sure to wear a mask every time you go out.
And that's your weekly PSA.
And may the force be with you.
What?
And may the force be with you.
That's right.
Opie said. All the midichlorians. May they all
No,
be
those
with
don't.
you.
We don't. We no. Not midichlorians.
All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
See you guys.
See ya.